So continuing chapter 14, we need to talk about the math that I would say out of all the math in the class is some of the easiest that throws more people for loops than anything else. I would say it's all, there's some math in the class that's not so easy to understand from the instructor's perspective why people get confused with it. This is one of those things that I go home at night and cry because I don't understand why you don't get it. So hopefully you'll be the group that gets it, and I won't have to do that. How to qualify a buyer. On page 321, 322, 323, it gets into the qualification process, okay, for buyers. Obviously, we take into account a buyer's credit history. And credit history is based on a number of factors, and as a buyer's agent, you should understand some of those factors. What really impacts a credit score, because your clients are going to not understand some of these things. Obviously, you want to work with lenders who have a good understanding of these, because sometimes someone can go from not qualifying to qualifying by making a credit card payment. A big percentage of your credit score is something called your available credit. In other words, what percentage of your available credit do you use? If you have a bunch of credit cards that are maxed out, even if you pay all your bills on time, you're not going to have a good credit score, okay? Because you're using such a high percentage of your available credit. Now, none of these numbers are going to be tested, but you should probably have an understanding of just what we're talking about here. In general, for credit scoring purposes, you want to use less than 30% of your available credit on credit cards. That's a pretty good target, less than 30%. So if you have a total credit line on all your credit cards of $10,000, you should have no more than how much in credit card debt? $3,000. Anything above that, and your credit score starts to take hits. When you go above 50%, bigger hits. If you go above 70%, huge craters in your credit score from that high credit usage. And so that's somebody who does make all their payments on time. So that might be something that could be fixed or adjusted in a hurry, right? I mean, if you've got somebody who has $10,000 credit line and they have $5,000 in credit card debt, but they have $2,500 sitting in the bank, they could make a $2,500 credit card payment, and we could rescore their credit the following month, and their credit score is going to go up significantly. Does that make sense? Just in 1 month. Now, if their credit score is low because of a bunch of missed payments or bankruptcies or foreclosures, those things don't get fixed in a month. They require credit counseling and years worth of time of paying bills on time and that sort of thing. But there are definitely factors. If your clients have credit issues, send them to somebody who specializes in credit repair. So that's one piece of the puzzle. We can't really do anything with that on the test. The other piece of the puzzle with qualifying a buyer is making sure that they can afford the payment. Does affording the payment have anything to do with your credit score? No. What does it have to do with? How much money you make.
How much debt you have.
And how much you spend otherwise. Those are the two things that matter when it comes to determining whether or not somebody can afford to repay a loan. How much do they make, and how much do they spend? Okay? So, we need to talk about something called debt-to-income ratios. I gave you a handout here for this. And debt-to-income ratios are the second way we qualify buyers after we've checked their credit. We want to check and make sure they can actually afford the payment. Now, I borrow your bags again. I borrowed them last week, but we're going to borrow them again. Hunter's always good for having like 12 big bags. We need them.
What do you want to do with that?
Because she's got good stuff in there, man. So, whenever we qualify a buyer, you're going to have this mental image burned in your mind, me holding two purses up, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is you should have this mental image, because one of these purses is for my housing expense. This black one is kind of boring, right? And so all that's in here is the most basic thing in my life, which is my house payment. There's only enough money in here to cover my house payment. I only have to keep enough money in this bag to cover my housing expense. Can everybody remember that?
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to call this the 28% bag. Okay? This bag is the 28% bag. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to put every month, every how often? Month, I'm going to put, so what kind of income do you think we're going to be working with here? Monthly income. Every month I'm going to put 28% of my income in this black bag. And I have to be able to make my house payment with the money that's where?
In that bag.
In this black bag. If I run out of money in the black bag before I make the house payment, do I qualify for the loan?
No.
No. If I can pay the loan, pay the house payment, and there's still some money left in the bag, or I can just pay it, there's zero money, but I paid the whole bill. As long as I can pay the bill out of this bag, do I qualify for the loan?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. But I qualify for the loan. Has everybody got that so far? Right? How much of my income am I putting in this bag? 28%. I'm not done though. There's actually 2 tests that we have to pass. Okay? Assuming we were okay with this bag, then we need to talk about this much more exciting bag right here. Louis Vuitton, right? Is Louis Vuitton cheaper or more expensive than black satchel with no name on it right here?
This is a reverse.
I don't know.
Way more.
I seriously don't know.
You seriously don't know?
Yes.
This is
Way
a
more.
more expensive, more exciting bag, right? So, are we going to put more of our income in this bag or less of our income in this bag? More. Now, it's not in addition to. It's not 28% plus what we put in this bag. It's the same money, right? Because it's the second test. We passed this test, all right? So, there's no more money in this bag because we've already passed that test. Now, we look at the more exciting bag. The more exciting bag has 36% of our income in it. And out of the more exciting bag, we still have to pay for the one thing we're trying to qualify for, which is what? The house payment. We still have to have enough money in the bag to pay our house payment. But we also have to have enough money in this 36% bag to pay all of our other debt. What kind of other debt might we have?
Reoccurring debt. Credit card debt.
Credit cards.
Utilities.
That's not a debt. He said light bill, electric bill, utility, gas bill. Are those debts?
No.
Do they have interest charges running on them?
No.
No. Those are expenses. We don't care about expenses. We only care about debt. So credit cards are good ones, right? Student loans, good one. Car payments, absolutely.
Kids?
Kids are not debts. There's no interest charge. There should be.
Oh, no.
Credit cards, yeah. So anything that's a debt, you know, is on your credit report, you pay interest charges on it, that's a debt. Everybody got that? We have to have enough money in our 36% bag to pay not only our house payment. Don't forget that. That's the most common mistake with this. People think the house payment only comes out of the 28% bag. No, we still have to pay the house payment. Because remember, this one, once we pass it, we're through with it, right? If there was enough money in this bag to pay the house payment, we pass on the black bag.
50%.
So that should be more of a wallet.
That should be more of a wallet, and maybe this is the whole bag. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I have to use that. There you go. There you go. But so does everybody understand that?
So, hold on, so this, in this bag is the 28%.
From that
plus-
bag, plus another 8%
Okay, got it.
to make 36%. Does that make sense? So it's not 28% plus 36%. It's 36% total in this bag.
Yeah.
28 of it came out of that bag. We just dumped it right over.
So what is that extra 8%?
That's all we have to spend on our debt. That's how much we can afford.
Okay.
Because we have to be able to afford out of this bag, not only our house payment, but all of our other debt. put 36% of our monthly income in this bag, and we pay our $500 car payment, and we pay our $200 student loans, and we're trying to qualify for a loan with a $1,500 payment, and there's only $1,300 left in the bag, do we qualify for that loan? What if we qualify over here? Don't matter, we gotta qualify which way? Both of them. We have to qualify with both. We have to make sure our house payment's not more than 28% of our monthly income. And we have to make sure our house payment plus our other debts is not more than 36% of our income. Does that make sense?
Why so low though?
Why so low? Well, you want the real answer? Those aren't the numbers we really use in the real world anymore. Those were the numbers a long time ago. Now, they get stretched a lot higher. But honestly, if you think about it, that's not really that low of a number. Because we're talking about gross monthly income before they take out taxes. So, assume you pay just 20% in taxes. Well, what's 36 plus 20? 56% of your income is gone, right? And you still have to eat. And you need clothes, and you need electricity at that house, and telephone bills and cable bills. But truthfully, that back-end ratio, they'll stretch it up to about 49% now.
Wow.
Which is a big difference.
Who can determine that percentage? Just the one who's
So-
making the loan?
Not the one who's making the loan, the one who's buying the loan. The one who's buying the loan, which is most likely to be Fannie Mae.
Is it a committee board or is it like a gigantic, 20 old executives sitting there calculating?
What, at Fannie Mae, you mean? Oh, I don't know what kind of
Sit
committees
there.
they have to set their criteria. I mean, I'm sure they have 1,000 accountants and, they look at all kinds of rate tables and all that sort of thing. Okay? But does everybody understand the basic idea behind this buyer qualification map? Okay? We want to make sure somebody qualifies under both pieces of this qualification rule. So, let's look at, turn on the back of the first page here. Okay? And I'll give you an example. It says, for example, a buyer has monthly gross income of $5,000 and credit card bills of $450 per month. How much of a housing expense can the buyer afford? Okay? So which bag do we have to check, 28 or 36? Both. We always have to check both. They have to qualify under both. So we can do the 28% first. In this case, we take our $5,000 monthly gross income and multiply it by 28%. And what that tells us is we can afford to spend $1,400 on housing. Okay? Now, let's talk about what housing is. What goes into your housing expense? Principal? Interest? Taxes? Insurance? HOA dues. That's part of your housing expense. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA. So what we're saying here, all we did is just figure out how much money goes in the black bag. How much money did we put in the black bag, 28% bag? $1,400. So therefore, how much of a housing expense can I afford according to just that one ratio? $1,400. I can afford $1,400 monthly for PITI plus HOA dues. So can I afford the same price townhouse as detached home? Oh, I can? Townhouses and detached homes have the same HOA dues, huh?
No.
No.
What kind of homes? Say that.
Townhouses and detached homes.
Oh.
Single family home. Townhouses are what? As far as HOA dues.
Higher HOA.
Much higher HOA dues. How about condos? Much higher still. So can I afford the same purchase price, single family detached home, townhouse, condo?
No.
No. Because my housing expense, part of that is going to be my HOA dues, right? So if I have HOA dues that are $50 a month here on that single family home, I can afford $13.50 on the PITI payment, right? If I got a condo and I have HOA dues of $200 a month, I can only afford $1,200 on the PITI. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay, that's just a real world thing right there. So, we know we can afford $1,400 according to that ratio. Are we finished?
No.
We got to check the other side, right? So, take our same monthly income of $5,000 and this time multiply it by 36%. And in this case, that says that we can afford $1,800. We got $1,800 in the Louis Vuitton bag. But that's for our housing plus what? Plus the debt. Now, what are they asking us for in this question? How much of a what? Housing expense. Well, if we've got two things in the bag and we want to know how much one of them is, what do we have to do with the other thing? Take it out of the bag, right? So we need to take the debt out of the bag. How much is the debt? $450 a month. So how much can we afford on housing according to this ratio? $1,350. So now we got two different numbers, right? The question is, which one is the answer? So you are the lender. You're qualifying somebody for a loan. They have to make this payment back to you. Which one are you more comfortable lending them? A loan where the payment is $1,350 a month, or a loan where the payment is $1,400 a month? Which one do you feel more comfortable that they can pay? $1,350. So, how much of a housing expense can this borrower afford? $1,350. Does that make sense for everybody?
Just real quick.
Yep.
Even though they're asking, I mean, I know you just said this, but housing expenses means the 36% ratio, not just the 20, because 28% will qualify you for your housing expenses. So the question is saying, what is the housing expenses? You're not just going to use the 28%, you're going to use the 36%.
You're always going to use both. You're always going to use both.
So if they didn't
Even if
have,
they're just asking for the housing expense.
Housing expenses on both sides, right? Isn't housing expense in both of these?
I don't know if I'm really asking the question mark, because they can ask you in the same note, if they're trying to get at the answer being, you just use the 28%, how would they ask the question? If they wanted just, if they just wanted to get the 28%.
They wouldn't, there's no, why would you do that? It's a two-part test. It's like this test. What do you have to pass when you take the state exam? You have to pass what? Forget the classes. When you take the state exam, what do you have to pass? A national section and a state section. What good does it do you to pass one? Not a damn bit. Same thing. You either pass them both or you don't pass at all. So you always have to
So you're
check.
saying there would never be a question where they're trying to get at you using the 28%?
Sure, because it's part of the test.
So how would they ask that question?
It would be asked the same way, but which it would be if the 28% number was what? Lower. If the 28% number had been $1,300 in this case, then which one could they afford for housing? $1,300 or $1,350? $1,300. Does that make sense? That's why you have to do both. They can't ask the question in such a way that you guarantee the answer is going to be from the 28% side.
You know what I think he's asking, Travis, only because, from a test taking point of view, that there'll be a question that will ask you how much debt.
How much debt they can afford.
And in that case, you wouldn't use the 28%.
And here's why you wouldn't use the 28% if they ask you how much debt. Show me where, I'm going to draw a line. This is the 28% side up here, right?
doesn't include that.
That's the 36%. Show me where debt is in this formula over here for the 28% side. It's not there, right? It's simply not there. So if they ask you how much debt somebody can afford, the only option you have is to work on the 36% side. And again, it's just two things in a bucket. So if they ask you how much debt can somebody afford, what would you be subtracting out of the bucket?
The housing expense.
The housing expense. You'd have to know what the housing expense was, right? And you would take, does that make sense? But whenever they ask you how much of a house payment somebody can afford, you've got to check both numbers.
So say that person didn't have a debt, they could technically be qualified up to 18?
No. That's what it means by you gotta pass both. It's always going to be, put yourself in the lender's shoes. Which number do you feel more comfortable with them? In this case, so he said, what if they don't have any debt? All right, forget the debt. So the 36% side now says they can afford how much? 1,800. I'm the lender. Which one do I feel more comfortable that borrower is going to be able to repay? 1,400 a month or 1,800 a month?
Of course. So it's always gonna be the lower.
It's always going to be the lower when you're asking how much of a payment they can afford.
Right.
Why are you emphasizing the payment?
Because that's what these numbers are, these are payments. How much of a house payment can they afford? How much of a monthly debt payment can they afford?
Because the payment can fluctuate based on interest too.
Yeah, of course.
And down payment that they make. and all that.
Right, because how much they're borrowing and, you know, loan evaluations, all that thing go into account. Okay? Is everybody all right on that so far? Now, the question can be asked in the opposite direction. They can give you the expenses, the payments, and say, how much money does Travis need to make in order to qualify for this payment? Everybody got what I'm asking there? Because in this case, we said Travis makes this much money. How much of a payment can he afford? The flip side of that is, okay, Travis wants to buy this house, here's what the payment is. How much money does he need to make in order to qualify for that payment? I'd love to tell you that we never do the math that way, but there are such things out there as no documentation loans. And lenders have been known to say to somebody, you know, to qualify for this payment, you need to make $125,000. You do make $125,000, right? By the way, we're not going to check. Loans like that are how you have housing bubbles and bursts, by the way. There were a lot of those in the mid-2000s. We call them ninja loans. No income, no job, no asset. I mean, we didn't verify anything. Whatever you said on that application, that's what it was. There's a 60 Minutes video where they did an investigation after a big bank collapsed, and they had one of their banking vice presidents who was kind of like whistleblowing on the whole operation. And they had an old lady up there, and they said that she had been refinanced 4 times in 4 years, and that the income that was stated on her application was about $8,000 a month, and the only income she had was her Social Security, which was about $3,000 a month. And they asked her, well, how did they come up with that number? And she said, oh, well, they went by my husband's income. And the interviewer said, oh, but he had been laid off. She said, oh, no, he passed away.
Nice.
So, if you were doing that kind of loan, where you were basically adding up, here's what the payments are, how much money would somebody need to make in order to qualify, you're not going to be taking their income and multiplying it times these ratios. What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. You're not going to have the income. So you're going to be taking the expenses, the payments, and dividing them by these ratios. Does that make sense? Okay? So, let's give you one here.
Do you mind turning off that monitor?
Yeah, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
You don't like flashing red lights in front of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been staring at it.
I've been looking at that thing the whole class, like, God, what is it?
What did you say 5 minutes ago?
You're so whiny. God.
You probably look at the board and all you can see is that thing.
You think that's distracting? I gotta look at y'all all night.
I understand.
See how blank faces?
Alright. So, what if, let's say, Tang wishes to qualify for a monthly housing expense of $1,750. He has monthly debt of $550. How much monthly income does he need? Do we still have to check both sides, the 28% bag and the 36% bag?
Just the 36%.
We always have to check both. See, this is why I tell you all, stop worrying about a shortcut. What's it gonna hurt to check the 28% side on that question you gave me earlier?
Couple seconds.
Nothing. Instead, you're gonna be sitting there not knowing when to do it and when not to do it. And you're gonna F it up. Right? So, check them both. So, here's what we need to know. How much money does Tang need to make in order to qualify? Well, let's do the 28% bag first, the 28% wallet first. What expenses need to be paid out of that? Housing expense, which is how much?
$1,750.
$1,750 a month. And what are we going to do with that 28% ratio?
You divide.
Divide by it. So $1,750 divided by 28%. How much would he need to make monthly to qualify for that payment? $6,250?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we finished?
No.
No, we got to check the
36%.
other bag. 36% bag. What expenses have to be paid out of that bag?
The debt,
750 plus
and,
550,
so take 1,750 plus 550.
2,300.
Everything that's over here, the housing expense, comes right over here, right? Because we still got to cover that housing expense. So we start with $1,750. Now what else?
550.
The $550 debt. Is everybody okay with that? So what do we got, $2,300 a month?
Yeah.
$2,300 a month that we need to pay, and we're going to divide that by what?
36.
Divided by 36%. How much does he need to make a month according to that ratio?
6,389.
$6,389? So, now, I'm the lender, again. The first time I was a lender, I was asking you how much of a payment somebody could afford. Was I more comfortable with them having a lower payment or a higher payment? Lower payment. Now, I'm the lender. Am I more comfortable with a borrower who makes less money or more money? More money. So which answer is it? Which do I need to make? $6,250 a month or $6,389 a month?
63.89.
$6,389. Is how much I need to make per month. And that question, how much time you need to make per month. And if they ask you how much his annual income would need to be, you would just multiply that times 12, right? Does that make sense? Everybody with me on that? Okay? Let me give you one additional thing here. What if they tell me that Travis has a monthly PI expense of $1,250, $4,000 in annual taxes, property taxes, and $900 per year in insurance. If he has a car payment of $700, how much does he need to make annually? Sort of the same question we just looked at, right? I gave you the payments, I gave you the expenses, and I'm asking you for the income, right? I gave you expenses, I'm asking you for income. What did I do this time though to toss a monkey wrench into it?
The taxes and insurance give us a yearly amount, so a monthly amount.
I didn't give you a housing expense this time, did I?
No.
I gave you a broken down, separated out housing expense. The first thing you'd have to do in a question like this is figure out what your housing expense really is on a monthly basis. Does that make sense for everybody? So tell me what housing expense is going to be.
Principal, interest,
PI,
taxes.
taxes, insurance, and HOA if we had it, right?
Yeah.
So what's the PI part? $1,250. How about the taxes part?
4,000 divided by 12.
4,000 divided by 12. Remember that 4,000 is an annual number. These payments are monthly. So
It's 333.
like that. So plus 333.33 plus what else?
900 divided by 12.
900. My insurance divided by 12 equals what?
75.
$75 a month. So plus 75. So my housing expense is how much? $1,658 and 33 cents. Everybody see where that number came from?
Yep.
Good on that?
Yep. Times by 28%.
Now, we're ready to apply our bag test, right? We need to do the 28% bag. We need to do the 36% bag. Did they give me income and ask me for payment, or did they give me payment and ask me for income?
Give me payment.
They give me payment and ask for income, so am I going to be multiplying times the ratios or dividing by the ratios?
Multiply. Still gonna divide.
Divide. They gave me payments, and they asked for income. Here's the common sense test, folks. Is your payment going to be more or less than your income? Your payment's going to be less, right?
Yeah.
So we want this number to get bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
We want this number to get bigger. If you've got a percentage less than 100 and you multiply it by the number, does it get bigger or smaller? If you multiply a percentage less than 100, it gets smaller. If you divide by a percentage less than 100, it gets what? Bigger. So you know which way you want it to go, right? You know that your answer's got to be bigger than this number. Does that make sense? So are we dividing by those ratios or are we multiplying? Dividing. So 1658.33 divided by what?
28.
28%. What does our monthly income need to be?
5,920.
$59.22 and 60 cents?
61.
Or 61, close enough. Are we done?
No.
No.
Because we haven't checked the fancy bag, right? The 36% bag, we start with the same housing expense, right? 16, 58, 33. What else is in that bag? Car payment, how much is that? $700 a month. 23, 58, 33, right?
Yep.
What are we gonna do with that number?
Divide by 36.
About 36%. How much do we need to make a month there?
6,550,
65, how much?
50, and 92 cents.
I'm the lender. Which one do I feel more comfortable with? A borrower who makes $59.22 a month or a borrower who makes $65.50 a month? Borrower who makes $65.50, so that's how much they need to make a month. The question asks me how much they need to make what? Annually, so I'm going to multiply that number times 12. $78,611 that borrower would need to make in order to qualify for that particular mortgage payment. Everybody okay on that? All right. So, in your little packet here, you've got 2 questions on the back of the first page. And 2 questions on page 3 and 4. So go ahead and do those right now.